Attention, your paradigm is about to shift at the intersection of fact and reason. You're entering Kingston Country.
I'm Dan Kingston, and you're listening to the Dan Kingston Podcast. Returning to the podcast today is our conspiracy theory expert, Tim from North Carolina. He's a conspiracy theory expert, but so much more. Welcome back to the Dan Kingston Podcast, Tim.
It's always a pleasure, Dan, to be on your show. I've always looked forward to coming back on your show every time, and let's get into this.
Yeah, well, you're a fan favorite. People love the episodes where we go into coronavirus and all that. But today, something a little bit different. I want to ask you, are we heading towards military conflict with China over Venezuela? And this is kind of an off topic, but it is kind of everything's going back to coronavirus right now because of China. Are we heading to military conflict with China, Tim?
Let me put the groundwork out here. I'm going to lay the groundwork out so everybody can understand where I'm going with this. Our relationship with China is changing. The manufacturing in China is going to kind of dwindle. And we're going to move that manufacturing to other countries, such as India, Taiwan, South Korea. And we're going to start moving manufacturing into South America. Now, if people have been paying attention to South America, countries like Venezuela have been under the social regime and regime changing pretty much collapse. Well, what a lot of folks forget is South America is rich in resources, including rare earth minerals and oil. Venezuela was one of the richest countries in the world in the early 1900s. They were much richer than the United States was. And socialism just totally collapsed the whole state, and it's just got a big void. I think we've used the Chinese up now. I think the Chinese option is going away. I don't believe we're going to use the Chinese option anymore. We can't trust them, definitely after this whole virus deal. But we also got to remember that the Chinese have interest in South America, just as they do in Africa.
I mean, they've invested heavily in Venezuela, and they support that tyrant over there, Maduro, who everybody says is a tyrant except China. China loves him. So is that why they're invested so heavily in Venezuela, because of those minerals and oil?
That is correct. And if you think about this, if we move into Venezuela and start manufacturing there, we cut that middleman out. We cut the Chinese middleman out. They're done at that point. Their economy will collapse. It will be very, very ugly because unfortunately they need us. The Chinese need us.
Why is that?
Because we consume most of their crap products.
So if we consume crap products from Venezuela or India or something and cut out China, then they're going to have a huge hole. That's
exactly right.
So is that why
it's
a threat to them? So they're now backed into a corner.
Yes, they are. The Chinese leadership are definitely backed into a corner. I think after this trade deal went down, the virus was already in motion. You and I both knew that. We knew it last year that this thing was in motion. It was coming. Trying to think of the correct way to put this way I want to put it, but it has the most effect. China neglected to contain that virus. I think they're shoved back to us saying, hey, you guys screwed us. We're going to screw you now.
They purposely seeded it in order to level the economic playing field, which is something I believe as well.
That's correct. Plus, if you look at all the military movement right now, I've got sources inside the military, and I've been told that the Army is on hold right now on normal operations till mid-May. I'm not going to spit an exact date out there, but I know the exact date.
Look, Tim, there's bipartisan support for removing Maduro, and at least there is bipartisan support for the other guy, the Guaido, who was at the State of the Union, wasn't he?
Yep, that's correct.
And he got a standing applause. Everybody loves Guaido. Mm-hmm. So do you think we're heading towards some kind of conflict where we take out Maduro and put in Guaido?
Well, look at Attorney General Barr last week. He came out and he said, "Hey, we're charging this guy with narco terrorism."
Maduro?
I guess that's the current leader of Venezuela, the
tyrant,
bad guy,
the bad guy,
yeah,
the tyrant. Yeah,
they charged him with narco terrorism, all this other junk stuff. They're setting it up to remove him.
Are they going to Soleimani him?
No. I think they're going to let the people of Venezuela do it. I think that the only thing that's holding that thread together is I've actually spoke with someone who is Venezuelan, and they said that there's Cuban military there, communist military. Cubans are there. The Cuban military is there, and they're a proxy army for the Chinese in Venezuela.
So it'll be like a proxy war. It's not going to be really us versus China. It'll be some kind of proxy similar to the Cold War with the Soviets.
Oh, yes. I mean, we're getting ready. I think we are entering a Cold War phase with China.
Yeah.
That's going to be worse than the one with Russia. Because unlike Russia, or unlike China, Russia didn't have all its tentacles in all these other countries like China does. We've stepped up a lot of operations in Africa, which have a lot of Chinese influence, and we've done it a lot in South America. The South America thing is the one that raises my eyebrows the most. I think that's one reason that they've worked on this trade deal with Mexico and Canada. They've got all this stuff put together. They're getting ready for the big China exit. The Czechit, we'll call it the Czechit, just like Brexit. Everybody's, it's getting ready to exit China. The worry is, how does China retaliate? Or do they retaliate even further after this virus? Because you can't tell me this virus wasn't seeded in the United States intentionally.
They hate us.
Look at the number.
They hate us.
They absolutely hate us right now. You look at New York City. There's all these other big cities across the United States. This virus could have hit and could have done some real damage. But instead it hits New York City. This was done as symbolism. It was done on purpose.
It could be. The Spanish flu also heavily impacted New York because it's one of the most dense cities. So there's that too, and it spread on the coasts. As well. I mean, that's how they would have seeded it, because that's where they had access to. The flights were being rerouted through San Francisco, I think, for a long time.
But you got to think about this too. Those international flights were also flying into Chicago Air. We're also flying into Miami. Why New York? The population density in Chicago is almost right there with New York City.
Yeah, same. San Francisco is pretty dense too.
Yeah, and they're dense. But the numbers are way different. Way different. And it's like, 2 plus 2 is equaling 5 here. Something's not adding up. The numbers don't work.
Well, nobody wants to get a nuclear hot war with China. And so I don't think either of us think that's happening, but it looks like they're becoming an adversary. They are an adversary, and we're going to have these kind of skirmishes across the globe in Africa and South America. I mean, is that right?
I think you're going to see you're going to start to see a large Navy presence in the Pacific. I think we probably need to start watching the Panama Canal. The Panama Canal could be a hot spot, could flare up real quick. But Venezuela, that's where I'd keep the eyes right now. That's where I would start watching CNBC when they start discussing the manufacturing come out of this virus. I'm going to tell you right now, the focus is going to be coming out of this virus is how do we separate ourselves from China?
Who makes the first move in terms of Venezuela, China or us?
I believe we already have. I believe the president sitting at the State of the Union, or the whatever you want to call him, president sitting at the State of the Union, whatever he is.
Right, Guaido, the guy that everyone loves.
I believe that was a shot across the bow right there. And not only was that a shot across the bow to the Venezuelans, it was also shot across the bow to the globalists and the Chinese regime.
And now with coronavirus and what China did to us, it's really on steroids, that message, right?
Yeah. You know, the one thing that when I see this one thing happen, is when I'll really start to panic, and that's when Trump goes underground. He hasn't gone underground yet. I think one of the reasons he's come out every day after White House is to show everybody that he's not hiding from this thing either. But then on the flip side, I definitely think we're not being told the truth, even by the White House. I think the White House is lying to us. I think the White House is lying to us. I think the media is just making up as much shit as they can make up to spread it everywhere, but I think we're being lied to.
But what do you think is the lie?
I think the lie is that this is just a disease, that it was weaponized. Was it a deadly bioweapon? No, it wasn't a god awful deadly bioweapon. Like, you know, you see movies like Contagion and stuff like that, but this kills you as soon as it touches you. But it was intentionally put in the places that it was put.
The things we're talking about are not being discussed by any of the leaders, our leaders that we trust.
They're not. Inside the government channels, there's another message floating around. As long as we don't have any more cities, explode like New York City did in cases, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll come out of this at the end of April. My worry is that they're going to start a so-called second wave, and you're going to start seeing it being planted in other cities.
Well, I mean, they don't even have to plant it at this point. It can spread on its own if we're not vigilant about it. And I don't even know how much more China needs to do. They unleashed it on the world.
Think about it like this, though. You get the New York thing under control. They start to reduce cases. Then all of a sudden, Denver blows up, and cases start happening everywhere in Denver. And then you get Denver under control. Then it starts happening in another city, and it just constantly starts hopping.
I mean, that's what happened during the Spanish flu. Honestly, well, it was connected to cities that did not do any kind of social distancing, had outbreaks, and some cities like San Francisco had social distancing, and then they gave up on it, and then the disease came. So I don't know if China got connected. Like, if we found out for sure that China was seeding it, and the scenario you're saying other cities are popping up, and we found out, I mean, wouldn't we we would unleash some shit on them. So they have to know that. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant to that theory. Just that, I think they did the damage. If they did more, I mean, they're asking for a big war.
I think it's that bad, Dan. I think it's that bad.
Really?
I don't think we know how to react yet.
Oh, so we're paralyzed, kind of, because we don't want to do a hot war. And
I think.
Wow.
I don't think we know how to react yet.
Well, I mean, are the Chinese that cunning? Really?
Oh yes. They're awful. Because you remember, the Chinese don't run their country. Global money runs their country. Their communists work for their global masters, the big giant corporations, the big rich families. That's who owns the Chinese. And communism is just their delivery method. That's their delivery system to control the people. It's their control mechanism.
Yeah, I think they say communism, but I don't know if that's not. It's just an excuse. I mean, they have some kind of weird form of government. Yeah, it's a communist dictatorship. Something strange over there. More strange even than communism.
I think that I think we'll know within the next 30 days. Some more and more truth will come out. Because the other thing that's bothering me, Dan, is these hospital videos.
The fake ones that are being released, and you see that there's a fake video from Italy.
Yeah, you got fake ones, and then you got real ones. You got people. There's a whole hashtag on Twitter about people checking out their hospitals. Where these giant crowds that are supposed to be at these hospitals, they're not there.
I don't think most cities aren't overwhelmed. Isn't it just Brooklyn?
No. Yeah, it's Brooklyn and Queens, and if you look at the outbreak on the map line, it follows the subway lines.
Well, that makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, have they shut down the subways?
But here's the thing I thought about last night, and I couldn't sleep after I thought about this. Was if it would have came in on the airplanes, like everybody said it did, the airport workers would have been sick. And people traveling on airplanes would have been sick, and it would have spread quicker across the country. But instead, it spread centralized in New York City at a high rate in a short period of time. So it was already there.
So what does that mean?
The virus is already there. I think somebody planted it on the subway system, and I think that it took off from there. I think this is like 21st century warfare. But I think if they go and they tell the American public, we've been attacked by Chinese, do you think buying toilet paper is a problem? The American public can't handle it.
Well, I think we could handle it, but I don't think we want to fall on hot war. I mean, that's what American people would say, nuke the Chinese, and then, the Chinese might nuke us back, right?
Well, I don't think they would say that, but I think everybody would be in such a state of shock.
Yeah. Me personally, if I knew for sure that they had done this to us, like for sure, 100%, I would be like, we should drop a bomb. We should nuke them. And then they would nuke us back. Yeah. So in some case, the government has to protect us from our own passions, maybe.
The 21st century warfare is going to be about making your adversary go broke.
Yes.
It's financial and economical warfare.
Well, that's what World War II. I mean, Japanese, it's the same thing, right? They had resources taken away, and it comes down to resources in warfare.
That's why they attacked us.
It's true, yeah.
That's why they attacked us, was the shipping lanes. We knew. I mean, we provoked that attack. I mean, if anybody's a true World War II historian will tell you that we provoked the Japanese on that one. We really did,
because they were starving of resources.
Crap we were pulling.
Yeah.
Yep. Some of the crap we were pulling, and we also knew Pearl Harbor was coming, and we didn't stop it.
Well, yeah, there's all kind of theories about that, but we can't. But at the same time, they no excuse for Pearl Harbor. I mean, that was crazy. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
That the Japanese were kind of in a desperate place, and now we see China. Is it a similar desperate situation? Is it a fair comparison?
I think China's a lot more dangerous than Japan is, or Japan was back then. I think China is way more dangerous. But
in a sneaky way, more of a sneaky, covert way, not in like a Pearl Harbor type thing.
That's exactly right. The thing that concerns me is, I think Trump is so caught up in all this. He doesn't know which direction to go right now, and that's why he's trying to focus on the economy. But I think there's some doublespeak going here. I think he's talking out of one side of his mouth, but they're doing something else. Also,
this kind of situation,
there's something
it's hard to predict.
There's something else going on behind this that we're not seeing. It's almost like this whole huge coronavirus. If you think about it like this, the whole huge coronavirus, yes, it's real, but the media explosion on it is distracting us from something else.
Right. Amen. That's so true.
Could be really going on. They're keeping everybody watching the hospitals, all this stuff, but nobody's watching what's going on over here or what's going on in the back rooms of D.C.
Or in Venezuela. What do people should look for, Tim, that would prove that your theory on Venezuela is happening?
Well, the Maduro charges, the charges they filed on that president last week. My jaw dropped when I saw that. I was like, oh my God, here it comes. Here comes the, how they did the Muslim Brotherhood spring in Egypt with Mubarak. They're going to pull the same playbook in Venezuela.
But instead of Maduro's replaced, basically.
Instead of using the religious fanaticism, they were going to use starving people that are starving.
And do you support this? I mean, do you think that we should get rid of Maduro and deny China the Venezuela, resources?
I have no say in that fight. I don't know. I don't know what's right anymore. I think that the United States will benefit from it, and the Chinese will suffer from it if we're successful. That's a big if.
Yeah, I agree with you. I was thinking myself, like, I am so angry at China, and yet I had to pause and think, wait a minute, why do we really care about Venezuela so much? And then I go back to like, well, we have to deny China the resources. And I'm like, well, but who really cares? You know, I mean, it's so hard. Why do you want to send troops, you know, to die in another land? Yeah.
Dan, it's a centuries-old game that the British Empire perfected. And we've taken it and we've perfected it further. Because it's colonization and the robbing of resources and economical warfare. Well, I got to run on you, Dan. I hate to run, but I gotta go. But that's basically where we're at right now.
Well, thank you for your insight and this theory. I think it's going to happen. I think it's happening right in front of us. Tim from North Carolina, thanks for joining the podcast.
Kingston Country. You've been listening to the Dan Kingston Podcast.